everybody, I'm back again. Today I'm going to read another chapter of Emily Sparks and the Friendship Fiasco, and I'm going to read chapter 3. And this is a Tuesday morning, and Emily's just arrived at school. I get into school and there's the usual fuss and racket going on. Gracie Mackenzie's packed lunch has exploded over Daniel Waller's numeracy homework, and she is desperately trying to wipe up a strawberry drinky yoghurt with her PE top. Daniel is crying. He's very sensitive. Once he cried all afternoon because he realised he had odd socks on. I am trying not to think about gross out Gavin, but this is not easy, as he and Alfie Balfour, who is just as annoying but at least his mum makes him clean his teeth, are having a loudest burp competition into each other's faces. This is the sort of thing they do all day, just for fun. I get Wavy Cat out of my bag and put him on Bella's side of the table. He waves his paw at me and I look at his little smiley face and I feel sad and happy, all mixed together. Everyone is scrabbling about trying to find their homework. Our school has a new policy, homework every night. This is because we have a new head teacher, Mr. Meakin, who is very strict. Before Mr. Meakin, we had a head teacher vacancy. This means they couldn't find anyone to be in charge of the school, so the teachers were allowed to run a bit wild. But that's all changed now. Mrs. Lovetoft said it's a complete headache trying to keep on top of all this homework. But I don't know what she's worrying about. She doesn't have to do it, does she? Amy Lee Langer, total bully type person, and her friend, Yasmin, are talking in the corner, probably trying to come up with new and exciting ways to make people miserable. Well, Amy Lee is probably trying to come up with new ways, and Yasmin is just agreeing with her. Nicole and Babette, the twins, are arguing about the Eiffel Tower colouring in sheets for their club. They run their own lunchtime French club and force all the little kids to count to 10 and say merci and bonjour. Although I sometimes think that Nicole and Babette don't really speak a lot of French themselves, just what their mum makes them learn in the car on the way to school. The biggest crowd, though, is around Susanna's table. She is showing off the little matchbox coffin she has made for her dolphin rubber. There will be a short funeral service today at lunchtime for Dolphin, she says. I will be burying him behind the picnic tables. Oh, poor Dolphin, says small Emily B. Thank goodness Daniel Waller is still wiping up his homework and hasn't heard, or he'd be howling all over again. I could go and join in, but I don't want to. It's too noisy today and I'm not in the mood to discuss dead rubbers. Anyway, I don't like Susanna. At the start of term, she had a birthday party and didn't invite me, and it was at Roller World. I was the only girl in the whole class who didn't get an invitation. Well, apart from Amy Lee Langer, and no one invites her to parties, not unless you want to get into a fight with the chicken dippers. Susanna gave out all the invitations at break time, and I couldn't believe it when there wasn't one for my tray too. When I was in the toilet, I heard her say to Babette, I'm not inviting Emily because she's a total pain. So, I didn't invite Susanna to my cinema party a few days later. And since then, I have realised that she is very annoying and very not interesting, and I probably wouldn't have gone to her party even if she had invited me. In fact, now she is my sworn enemy. It is a total pity she's not nice, though, because her best friend Mina Begum left last term as well, and we could have sorted out each other's best friend vacancies. Except I don't really want a new best friend. I just want Bella to come back and sit in the empty seat next to me. I make Wavy Cat's paw move again and think, if you could just get on with the good luck, it would be really helpful. The door swings open and in comes Mrs. Lovetoft, our teacher. Good morning, class, she says, all bright and cheerful. Welcome to another lovely day at Juniper Road Primary. She's always bright and cheerful, which is not normal sort of teacher behaviour, I know, but she seems to get away with it. She is quite old and has lots of hair which is always escaping from her hair clips. She's not very good at controlling the class, so she is lucky that I am able to control myself. So there's one less thing for her to worry about. Homework books to the front, please, she says. Straight away, Amy Lee Langer and Gross-Out Gavin shoot their hands up in the air. Amy Lee says, I haven't had time to do it because I've been ill. What she means is she hasn't had time to bully anyone into letting her copy theirs. Mrs. Luptoft says, all right, Amy Lee, try to do it tonight. She is far too soft on her. It's no wonder Amy Lee's behaviour problems are not improving. Gross-Out Gavin smirks. I didn't know we had homework, miss. Why didn't you know, Gavin? Dunno, miss. But we have homework every night, don't we, Gavin? Dunno, miss. What were you doing when I gave out the homework? Mrs. Luptoft says with a sigh. Dunno, miss. I can see this might go on for some time, so I'm looking around trying to find something to be interested in when I see, through the glass panel in the classroom door, Mr. Meekin, the head teacher, standing outside. This is not unusual. Mr. Meeker is the sort of head teacher who is always popping up in unexpected places, trying to catch teachers out for smiling too much or drinking tea in the classrooms. Then I notice the top of a blonde head below Mr. Meekin's elbow. Mr. Meekin opens the door a little bit and peers in. I am a bit worried about Mrs. Luptoft in case she is looking too cheerful, but it's okay because she is just in the middle of saying, what do you think will help you to remember homework, Gavin? And now I can see that the blonde head under Mr. Meekin's elbow is attached to the body, and it is the body of a girl. And she is wearing a red miniskirt and sparkly tights, which is not at all normal for a Tuesday. She pokes her head into the classroom and says, this is year 6? Okay, I guess I'll have to get used to it. Get used to it? This can only mean two things. Either she is a new girl, or she is a new teacher who is really short and looks about 10. I am just thinking it's most likely she's a new girl when Mr. Meekin shuts the door again and they go off. Mrs. Luptoft doesn't even notice. Really, she should be more aware of what's going on in her classroom. I don't have any more wondering time left, however, as Mrs. Luptoft has given up explaining homework to Gavin until tomorrow morning and is now talking about Tudors, though I'm sure my mum could teach her a thing or two about living in 16th century living conditions. Mrs. Luptoft is very excited because we are going on a Tudor Times time travel trip next week. We are going to Ickwell Hall, where apparently people hang about wearing costumes, pretending to be real Tudor people. It's a bit annoying because Ickwell Hall is only about 20 minutes away and everyone knows the best bit about going on a school trip is the bus journey. But Mrs. Luptoft is very enthusiastic. Everyone will need a partner, she says, as you will be doing a lot of work together on the day. It will be very exciting, living history. Everything makes Mrs. Luptoft excited. She gets excited about music lessons, assembly, school lunch. Once she even clapped her hands when Joshua Radcliffe was sick in class. History is Mrs. Luptoft's favourite thing of all, though. Really, I can't see the point of it. Future would be a better thing to learn about, and then I could find out all sorts of things like, will my baby sister ever get a name? And will Bella's parents ever come to realise that making goat's cheese in Wales is not normal for people? I don't know who's going to be my Tudor Times time travel trip partner. I don't even want one. There's only Susanna Spare, and I'm not being partners with her. Unfortunately, Alfie Balfour won't be able to join us on the trip because he has to go and visit his nan in her special old people's home, Mrs. Luptoft says. Alfie's nan is actually in prison for 2 weeks for refusing to pay her TV licence. It was on the news and everything. So, Mrs. Luptoft is saying, that means Gavin won't have a partner. Now, who can I pair Gavin up with? Too late. I realise what disaster is about to happen. Mrs. Lovetofts looks around the class and catches my eye. And I know exactly what she's going to say. Ah, yes, Emily Sparks. You don't have a partner, now do you? I can't seem to get any words to come out properly. Why has she picked on me? I don't want to be a partner with gross out Gavin. Finally, I blurt out, But what about Susanna? She's on her own too. She could be his partner. I look over to Susanna's table, but it is empty. Then I see a pair of white socks and black shoes sticking out from under her chair. I have to admit she's quick. She must have made a dive for it. Who? Mrs. Lovetoft said. She's also very forgetful. Oh, yes, Susanna. Where is Susanna? Susanna wriggles out backwards and then stands up and gives me a seriously super evil look. Just drop my pencil, miss, she says. Oh, yes, very well then. You can be partners with Susanna, Mrs. Lovetoft says. No way, say Susanna and I together, glaring at each other across the classroom. Before Mrs. Lovetofts can say any more, there is a wail from the other side of the class as Daniel Waller realises he has left his drinks bottle at home. Oh, never mind, Mrs. Lovetofts says. We'll sort out partners tomorrow. So, another problem for Emily. She's either going to be partners with Susanna, who she doesn't like, or partners with gross out Gavin, who she really doesn't like. We'll have to wait and see. But the reason that she and Susanna don't get on is that she didn't get invited to Susanna's party. And I was thinking about parties because it's a bit strange, isn't it, when we're all in isolation? We can't go to parties or anything like that. So what party would you go to if you could have any sort of party you like? What about, where would it be? Would you have a party in Disneyland? Would you have a party on the moon? Where would you have your party? Would you be in a castle? Would you go back in time and have it in a different time, or maybe in the future? And who would you invite? If you could invite anybody, you could invite some famous people, maybe some footballer or pop star or someone, or you could invite someone from history, or you could invite somebody in your family that you haven't seen for ages that you'd like to see, or maybe you could invite everyone in your school, or maybe you wouldn't like to invite many people at all. Perhaps you just like to go with a couple of good friends. Why don't you plan out a party and make it as imaginative as possible? Think about where you'd go, who would go with you, what you'd eat, what you'd do, and what games would you play, and what presents would you like to get. And you can do pictures to go with it. I'd love to hear about any that you do. So I'll leave you that thought. Maybe that's something you could do today. And I'll be back again tomorrow.